that is you, then you can do it. You let us know, get with your support team, Brandon, Brian, all of the leaders in the room. Our job, I tell my guys today, the brand new promoters, I say, hey, I work for you now.
Yes.
Now you can't pay me. I don't want any money, but I do want you to reciprocate the commitment that I'm willing to give you back to me. Is that fair? Okay. If I spend my money and time to fly into St. Louis, would you make a phone call or two? Yeah? If I drive across town to do a party for you, would you open your doors and let some of your warm market, your family and friends in? Yeah?
Yes.
Well, that's all we want, guys. That's all we want. We'll work harder for you in the beginning than you'll probably be working for yourself. I didn't understand that 5 years ago. I do understand it now. I'm pulling my hair out for some of my new people, and they don't even get it. I get off the phone, I'm sweating. I'm like, why am I working so hard? You know? Because that's what someone did for me. So, with that, guys, hopefully that helped. Who am I bringing up, Brent?
Lisa and Bobby.
Lisa and Bobby. Y'all help them up. Lisa and Bobby.
All right, real quick, we gotta get up and move. Everybody stand up.
Yeah.
Turn to the person next to you, rub their shoulders for about 10 seconds. Give it a little back rub. Give it a little back rub. I'll rub it back. All right, now turn the other way, rub somebody else's shoulders. Additional back rub. Perfect. Chris Freeman, keep your hands above the belt line, please. All right. I'm Bobby. That's my better three-quarters, Lisa. We are national directors out of Wentzville, Missouri, and we're going to talk to you today about building income through customers.
Hey, share your story a little bit.
Share our story a little bit. You want to share? All right. She's a lot better storyteller.
Woo!
And she's much hotter than I am.
I agree. I don't know about that. I started the challenge a year ago and lost 45 pounds, feel great. Went from a size 12 to a size 0, and let me tell you, that is life-changing. Inside and out, it's life-changing, and I'm a totally different person.
Oh, my bad.
My husband started stealing my shakes, and he dropped 18 pounds, and then decided to build and built 16 pounds of muscle, 14 pounds of muscle, and went from having a little bit of a, like a half barrel to a six-pack. So
I found
anyway, so yeah, we're feeling great and loving this. This has completely changed our life financially as well. When we found the challenge, we were 3 years into our adoption, adopting our son from Haiti, and we were about to give up because we were out of money, and our children, we have 4 children also, and they were suffering. We couldn't even afford to go to the grocery store anymore at that point, and we were about ready to give up, and our friend said, you know what, you need to talk to my friend Brandon. And this crazy guy gets on the phone and tells me to trust him. And I got off the phone thinking this is insane, but my husband said, you know what, this is something that we need to do. We need to, we've got to figure this out. So either way, if this isn't successful, we're not going to be any worse than what we are now, because right now we're really bad off. So we went ahead and jumped all in and decided to give it a shot. And now our son is coming home soon, and our adoption is completely changed our lives. So, and my alarm is going off.
Yeah, and like she said, we jumped all in, hit RD in 70 days, hit national director in 4 months. Life happened, fell off a little bit, and then just last month we can now say we're proud. So that's just, that's us. We're not anything special. But, the coolest thing is that we did this with spare time. We, 2 busy teachers, we didn't think we had any spare time. And it's just talking to the people at work, talking to your neighbors, talking to anybody that you see, and just let them know, hey, this is pretty awesome, you gotta give it a shot. So now we'll get into building income through customers. When you first get started, first week, 2 weeks, you're starting right around, or when your bonus value is 200 to 500, you're getting 10%. You can just kind of read for yourself as you go up. Once your PQV is over 2,500, then you're earning 25%. You get the first 10% weekly, and then that monthly check that you get is where you get the remainder of that balance. So that's where all that comes from. Hypothetical income, you get your PQV up to 1,000, you're making about $200 a month. When in actuality, you're making more than that, because if you get your PQV up to 1,000, more than likely you're getting your kit for free. So you're saving $150 on top of the 200. And, you know, so now you're looking at $350 right there that you're making, because you're not having to spend that money on a kit. You're saving the money from going to the grocery store. So then you're making more than 200. So you can kind of read there as to what you're making. And if you think about it, 1,000 PQV, that's 4 transformation kits. And you're, you know, making $200 a month, plus getting bonus pools and that kind of stuff on top of that. Creating a customer funnel. Challenge parties. You know, challenge parties, they can't get to challenge parties, bring them to challenge groups. Challenge groups have been huge for us. Me being a PE teacher, I do challenge groups for a living, except mine are all with 5, 6, 7-year-old kids. So I make sure to get to their parents. But, you know, challenge parties, or challenge groups, take the pressure out of coming to somebody's house and, you know, feeling uncomfortable. I know Lisa always said, when we were talking about, or when she was getting invited to our friends' challenge parties, you were telling everybody, I don't want to go to a fat person party. That's just how she felt. And we got to think that some people do feel like that. So that's where the challenge groups come into play. Our challenge group is we go hiking every weekend. Something you can bring your kids to, something that the whole family can do together, and it just takes all of the stress and awkwardness out of the situation. We have a complete rock star in the crowd here today that I want to bring up to kind of share what she does to get people into their customer funnel and close them out. This girl is a director out of Highland, Illinois. Last month, 28 days in the month of February, she put in 31 customers. In 28 days.
I decided to become a promoter for Via. I actually saw it as a business opportunity. I really didn't know if I was going to do shades or not, because I just wanted to step to magically fall on. So I saw an opportunity because nobody was doing it in our market, and I was like, eventually this is going to get big just like everything else does. So I bought in, and then all of a sudden I started bringing these shakes, and it was pretty good, and I was like, all right, I can do this. Then I results came. 34 pounds down, and people in my little town just wanted dessert. They're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But then it became a passion of mine. So what I really did was every single customer I've signed, I've stayed on. Like, they may go with my promoters, but they still have to account to me. So I watch them. I stalk them on Shake It Up. If they're telling you that they're going to quit, like, hey, you haven't utilized your resources. We got to keep going. And by providing them with that accountability, they're like, oh my God, I have her anytime I need her. Call me, text me, email me. I am here for you, and I'm almost more passionate about their challenge than I've ever been about mine, because it's got helping somebody else to help me. And the second that I got to that point, people just started following me. So make it about your customers, not about money. Don't be a salesman.
Yes.
People don't like salesmen. So
That's good, that's good, that's good.
Next thing is social media. Live your challenge. Be on the challenge. I know for us personally, when we first got started, Lisa lost her first 10 pounds in, what, a week and a half? And she put it on Facebook, and within a week we had, what, 40 customers? It was something stupid. And that was all because we were just showing everybody what we're doing and then, you know, how easy it is and the results, and then, hey, this stuff actually works. If you don't believe us, look at her results. You don't believe us, look at her results. You don't believe us, look at her results. So, you know, just sharing on Facebook, and, you know, we try to make sure we tag Chris Freeman just so he has feelings like he does have friends. But, another thing that has been really successful for us is one-on-one. They can't make it to a challenge party. They can't make it to a challenge group. Great, when can you meet? Go see them. Go sit down with them at a Starbucks. Just, you know, talk to them. A lot of times it takes the awkwardness out of the situation because they don't want people to know that they're unhappy with themselves. So go talk to them, you know, sit down, buy them a cup of coffee, buy them lunch, whatever you need to do. Bring some samples, do what you need to do to just make them feel at ease and make them feel like, hey, we do have the solution, it is going to work. And then referrals, who do you know who? One of the best examples of this is a friend of ours in South Carolina, Carol, was talking to a personal trainer. Personal trainer said, no, it's not for me, not for me. She asked, who do you know? That led to 5-star promoters in one night. So, always ask that question, who do you know? You never know who it could lead to. It could lead to a Chris and Courtney Freeman. It could lead to a Brandon Janice. It could lead to a Brown Thunder. You never know. All right? So make sure you ask who you know who do you know that might be interested in this. And then helping customers select the kits. Biggest thing is ask questions. Make sure you ask a ton of questions. The more questions you ask, the more buy-in they have. It will sell itself once you get them involved. Okay? Do you have an active fitness goal or weight loss? I always lead with active fitness so I don't offend anybody. Because a lot of people look at me and a little skinny punk, you know. So start with active fitness. Great, would you like the fastest results possible? If you do, what I like to do in between those is, you know, okay, if you do have a weight loss goal, what size jeans would that put you in? And just keep asking questions like that. Get them to buy in a little more. You know, how would that make you feel? And then, do you want to get to those results as fast as possible? Great. That's when you kind of become a doctor and you're prescribing which kit would be best for them. So you tell them, okay, you want the fastest results, transformation kit, it's this much per meal, we'll get you going. And then, like it says, use your order form to use as a cheat sheet and upsell. Oh, you're worried about what you're going to snack on? Okay, we've got Bye-Bites, we've got cookies. There, problem solved. Okay, so make sure you upsell because that helps a lot. Once they're enrolled, give them product to start while they're waiting on their kit. Just throw 2 days worth of shake mix in a Ziploc baggie and give it to them and get them going because they're excited. They want to get going right away. Their kid will be there in a couple days. Put them through the customer GST, which is coming soon, and get them fully committed to the 90 days. You know, biggest thing is keep them excited. Show them the success and keep their excitement level at a peak. Learn how to add on and upsell. One of the best things I can say is have the snacks, have the other stuff. Basically, try everything. All right? I know with us, one of the biggest things we've been able to upsell is the Vitrim and Vislim. Why? Because it worked for her. So she can tell people, I hit a plateau, I started with the Vitrim and Vislim, and then the weight just melted off. So try everything. You don't have to, you know, be on it for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Give it a shot, see how it works for you with the cookies, with the Bye-Bites, with anything and every product that we have. Give it a shot so that you can tell them personal experience. It's the best way to do it. And then customer 3 for free, I'll hand it over to Beautiful.
I'm sorry, you can just sit back there and look pretty.
That's what I do best. Cheers, my best.
All right, I don't know where it is.
That's click forward, that's all you need.
All right, customer 3 for free. First thing that you need to do is to make a list of all of your customers. When you go through and you make a list of all your customers, it's going to help you get an idea of who out there doesn't have their free yet, and keep track of that. That's really important. What customer is going to leave you if they're getting their kit for free, you know? So that's really important. So make a list of your customers and then call them directly and ask them, hey, do you want to get your kit for free? And of course they're going to say yes, and then you just say, hey, do you want my help? So that's how you need to get that started, because it's really important to get them their kid for free. There's no reason for any of us to be paying for our kid. I paid last March when I first signed up. I've never paid for my kid again. My groceries come to my house for free every single month on my porch. And I tell everybody that so that they get excited also about getting their kit for free as well. So then schedule their challenge party. And I use the word party lightly. People get afraid when you ask them, hey, do you want to have a party? People don't like to have parties at their house very often, which I've found doing this. They get afraid of that. And they're like, oh, no, that's not for me. I don't want to do that. So I make sure I just tell them, hey, we're just going to get together. We're going to come to your house. We're going to make some shakes for your friends. And we're going to share stories. That's all it is. And so I make sure I explain that to them. That's really important, I think, because it's helped a lot of people want to do this more. When we just say the word party, it tends to scare people off, you know, and they feel like they're selling something. And we have nothing to sell. We're just sharing the story. So I make sure that that's very clear too. So then have them accept the challenge and invite. I do this just like I do with my promoters when I'm doing a GST. I do this with my customers as well. I have them make a video. And I have them send out their video to their friends and family as well, so they can let other people know what they're doing in the challenge that they're on, and it gets people excited. If you're just sending out a text to people or sending out a Facebook message, they can't hear the excitement in your voice. And so I want people to, you know, for them to be able to see that excitement. They can see that through a video, and I also have them call and follow up with their customers as well, even though they're not actually promoting. And so what we're doing then is we're really creating promoters out of our customers too. So then you'll go and you'll run their challenge party for them. I bring all ingredients and everything whenever it's a customer for free party. I don't ever ask my customers to buy any of the ingredients, so I bring all of that over there for them. And I do everything for them. I do run the entire party for them. And then we also ask for, you know, while we're there, if anybody else there, any customers that sign up that night, would you like to also do this at your home so we can help you get yours for free as well? So running the party. Oh, okay, really fast. Running party. So it's exactly the same as a regular challenge party, only you're only going to show the first half of the video. The overview video, you're not going to talk about the business. And Bob already talked about upselling. Successful free challenge parties, the hostess will get theirs for free. You're going to earn money in the customer pool, which is on the next slide. You're going to have a higher residual payout. You'll book more parties from those parties, and asking for referrals as well, who you know who. In the customer pools, the average pool check is about $50. I've seen them go as high as $250 on our team to about $50. So the customer pool checks come whenever you get 3 customers within a month's time at $500 in volume or more. If you can do that in your very first week as a promoter, you're going to get triple points for that. And the more points you have, the more money you will make in those pools. If you do it in your second full weekend, you're going to get double points. And maintaining and retaining customers, send them thank you notes. I keep in contact with all of my customers through text, through Facebook messages, through email. I just stay in constant contact with them, and I also send out Facebook messages constantly, publicly, congratulating them on their results, and making sure that they know that we're all there for support. And then all of you guys, you know, constantly commenting on those posts really helps, and the customers feel really great about that. So make sure that you do that. Have them commit to their full 90 days. Get their product, help them get their products for free. Get them this t-shirt. Everybody wants this t-shirt. They get really excited. I got a text from Jill today saying, gosh, I wish I would have done my video sooner. I could be wearing my Lost It shirt today. Everybody wants the free t-shirt. So make sure that you help your customers get that t-shirt too by staying, you know, keeping in touch with them. Talked about challenge groups, celebrating the victories publicly, get them to the challenge groups, and that's it. Okay, so to be the #1 transformation company, we need to create an environment where the customer is celebrated, sees results, and tells others about the challenge. So that's it.
Next, we have National Director of St. Louis. If you ever have anything bad to say about him, yeah, good luck, because when you see his arms, they're bigger than my waist. Mr. Joe and Audra Stewart.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Audra Stewart. I'm out of St. Louis,
and our story is that we got started 2.5 years ago, and it took us a year to get on board. So if I can tell you guys, our biggest regret is that we waited an entire year to come on board. The guy that enrolled us, he just, kept asking us to get to a challenge party. We're like, no, that's not for us. We're not interested in that. And, we're multiple streams of income. So he's a firefighter. We also have a real estate company. And I cannot have anything else on my plate. So a year later, I'm stalking his Facebook page, and I'm like, okay, they got 2 BMWs, a $25,000 bonus check. I'm like, maybe we need to check into this. This is pretty cool. But most importantly, I was seeing people post on his wall how he's affected their life and the transformations that these people were having. And I was like, you know what, that's pretty cool. I might want to think about this and get to a party and see what this is all about. So needless to say, we came on board, and you heard my story a little bit ago. I hit regional director 4 months. And my husband did it in 3 months, so we both have BMWs, and that's a lot of income coming into our house. We really kind of got into this business as well because we wanted my husband to retire next year at the fire department. And so we were just looking, wanting to make an extra $3,000 a month. And we did that in the first 3 months of the company. We're like, oh my gosh, we have something here. But most importantly, what I've learned in this company is the personal development and the really paying it forward, helping people. I'm going to share something with you just real quickly. 2 days ago, this beautiful girl right back here who's keeping track of the time, Melissa Harbo, she sent me this text message, and I asked her if I could share this. And she said, I know I said this before, but I really am so thankful for you and Joe for introducing our family to the Vi Life. I didn't think I'd ever be a size 6 after having children, but with your continued belief in me and motivation, along with the rest of the Vi Life community, I'm more confident and I feel amazing, and I love you guys so much. This is what it's all about.
When we first started, and as Hunter says about that, we skipped on it for a whole year. And I have regrets about that now. But people say they had that moment of clarity, and something just hit me. We were doing all the Facebook stuff, and that's true, but something just hit me. Everything made sense to me. And we got involved, we got very passionate. I'm not a salesman, guys, I'm a fireman. I've been a fireman for 29 years. But I did see on calls we run how people's health just is tremendously emotional for people. Whether it's a weight loss or just getting your health back. I spend the better part of my day at work picking people off the floor because they've gotten so overweight and obese, their health is failing. And it's getting worse day by day. So all we do is we're very passionate about what we do, and we just share it. We don't sign up, and we just share. We share stories, and people like Melissa and I, they get it.
I'm never shy about sharing the challenge because I know that it's impacted so many people on our team. I'm not embarrassed, I'm not shy, it's like, who's next? I almost feel like it's a disjustice if I'm not sharing the challenge. So today we have the privilege of...
figuring out these room.
Okay, the 3 for free. Our company, I don't think there's anybody else out there who does this, but we have the ability to get our product for free. So who in the room is getting their product for free? Raise your hand. Okay, that is pretty much the whole entire room. We have not paid for our product in 2.5 years, my husband and I. And so, anything else you want to add to that, Joe?
No, it's very easy to do. You guys just go out there and be a product to the product, share your story. Whether it's a weight loss story or a muscle building story. We've done both. We first got involved in this company, I wanted to see if the product would work. I lost 12 pounds, I think, in the first 2 weeks. And then my next goal was to put on some lean muscle. And that's a little hard. I'm 51 years old, and I'm thinking, well, that's going to be a challenge for me. But I put it on social media. I put it out there that I was going to put on 10 pounds of muscle in 90 days. In actuality, I put on 14 in 74 days. So if I can do it in 51, everybody can.
So share the stories, and that helps you get your product for free.
Yeah, I don't even mind. So here's PQV's personal qualified value. So we're going to recognize a few people in the room. For 501 to 1,000 in PQV, stand up if you've done that this month.
Who's done that? Awesome, congratulations, guys.
The way PQV is, please go ahead and sit down. PQV is basically what you purchase and what your customers are purchasing. So that's your personal qualified value. We got anybody in the room that's done from 1,001 to 1,500? Stand up. Woo!
Just keep standing. So what about 1,501 to 2,000? Anybody?
Fantastic. And from 2001 to 2,500 PQ.
Nobody.
You got one?
Yeah, Barney, can you come up here and give a tip?
Just give us your tip.
Give a
There was
tip.
one
How
tip.
are you acquiring all these customers?
Basically, I am just asking people if they've heard about the challenge, and they'll say no usually, and I say, well, do you mind if I share with you, getting their permission? And then they say sure. I send them the overview video, and then I ask them what they liked best, and we go from there.
Awesome.
That easy, guys. All right, do we have any new rising stars in the room? Any new rising stars? Come on up. Come on up. All right, so just tell us where you're from and what it took to get Rising Star.
I'm Aaron. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I actually just started the challenge myself. It's been 2 weeks tomorrow, and I bought in to be a promoter before I even started the challenge. And I have just been contacting my friends and being on top of people that watching people being healthy and promoting my stuff on Facebook, telling them I lost 7 pounds in 5 days. So I was put that on Facebook and people were really interested. So
Congratulations.
thank you.
I'm Jamie Thompson. I live in Garden Prairie, Missouri. I would have to say that most of my success has come from really leaning on Bobby and Lisa and them, letting them guide me, letting them tell me what I need to do to get to RST, even though I forgot to buy a ticket, and then I did the next morning. I dreamt that I bought the ticket. I didn't buy the ticket. It's just really leaning on them, letting them tell me what to do. Lisa is my daughter's teacher. She's a third grade teacher, and she has done that. And the first day I met her, I'm like, you're the one everyone's talking about. You're the one who's lost all this weight. I need to do that. And I did. 6 months later, I saw her again. I need to do that. And finally, I went to the world's workout, the world's Guinness Book World Records workout, and I signed on. And I played the whole thing. I wanted to have a story before I promote. So I made my little story. I've lost almost 20 now. And
Congratulations, you two. Rising Star is one of the most prestigious ranks in our company. It's the most important rank. You have 30 days to hit that rank, but if you can do it in the first 7 days, you get triple points in the pools.
This is the regional director, and Kevin already alluded to this one. This is 12,500 and GQV. So what that does is that qualifies you for that $600 a month BMW bonus. And some people are like, well, I'm not real crazy about a BMW, but I think you'd be crazy about it if it was free. So that's a big part of it. We got ours in like 3 months, and then I'll qualify for hers a month after that.
Do we have any new RDs in the room since September, the last LST? Any new? So just tell us where you're from and what it took to do that.
I'm Shira Davis, St. Peters, Missouri. 31 days. I made RD, and it just took follow-up, like the young lady said. Have you heard about it? Everybody that I run into, my kids tease me because I sold cars for years, and we go to dinner and I'd say the same thing. Hey, you look like a car, so I'm just used to talking to people, and that's all I'm doing now. This is much better because other people be helping. My name is Naomi. I live in Craigport, Missouri. It took me 27 days. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And what I did was basically try to meet 5 people a day, grocery stores, wherever I go. And just good follow-up and making sure that anybody that I signed up for a challenge, before I let them off the phone, they gave me a list of at least 10 people. Because everybody knows somebody trying to, lose weight or build muscle. That I could follow up and get their kit for free. So that's what I think.
Awesome.
What she said there, it's all about commitment and consistency. She's staying consistent, 5 people a day. I guarantee if you did that each and every day, you would hit that in no time whatsoever.
Awesome.
Okay, so the next rank is national director. Do we have any new national directors since NST? Who do we have as national directors in the room? Come forward very quickly, please. Really quickly, I want you to give a tip for the people that are running for this rank right now, what it takes to hit national director.
You're first.
Very quickly. What did you want to do?
So it's a quick tip on what to do and
Everything they just told you to do. I was kind of ignorance on fire. I just came in and did exactly the way the leadership told me to do, and I did it in 45 days.
Biggest tip I have is don't quit. It's gonna get hard. There's gonna be ups and downs and turns and valleys, whatever. Don't quit.
Make sure you're living your challenge and let other people see you living your challenge and be coachable and get advice from your upline.
Use other people's stories. I was 100 pounds overweight. I couldn't tell people about the fitness part of it, so I leaned on other people and used their stories as well.
Really, you just follow the leader. Just keep doing what the ones above you did. They're going to show you what to do. I think Jen had mentioned that. She just did Bobby and Lisa say the same thing. Just do what your upline does, and they'll lead you the right way. Good.
And I'm the same with Lee. I think it was ignorance on fire because we hit it all in 45 days. And I think the most important tip though I can give you is fill your calendar, fill your calendar, fill your calendar.
right now, his national director is going to get you a piece of that equity. Very important. So we got 2 years, less than 2 years to do it now. For 2 years, and that's going to be huge, guys.
And when you hit Indy, you get one of these $5,000 bonuses that you see here, down here. Okay, any new PDs in the room? Any new PDs?
Bobby Nicholson.
What?
Oh, never mind, ignore me.
So, what presidential directors do we have in the room?
We will.
Come forward, really quickly, please.
Tomorrow.
Brian Summers.
Give us a tip for the people who are running for PD right now.
Relentless consistency. Relentless consistency in working within your group. Making sure that everybody is staying plugged in, and that's going to be a session coming up. But just staying within your group, helping everybody cross that line, making sure everybody gets their checks on their back office, and working within the group.
Awesome.
Awesome, that's beautiful. And that's a $10,000 bonus that you get on top of it when you hit presidential director.
Well, she's my lifetime challenge bonus right there.
Right there.
Good work.
All right, the ambassadors. Any new ambassadors in the fifth rank since NST? Any new?
I don't think I'm new. I think I'm old.
Okay, so the ambassadors we have in the room come forward, please, and give a tip.
The only tip I would give you guys is to, maybe some of you have heard this before, we all have goals in the room, right? You want to pay your bills, you get a house and all that. But if you help others achieve their goals, then you're going to be able to achieve your goals. So bury yourself in someone else's success during this process.
Take your shirt off.
That's perfect. Everybody said exactly what I wanted to say. One thing Kevin said that I think is great is tell every new promoter I work for you. Right? Call them up. Hi, Brandon. I work for you now. What do you want out of this thing? I think that's genius. I'm going to use that every time now. I appreciate that. See, guys, come to these things because you never know what you're going to take away. Right? Like, that's the most golden thing I've gotten in like 6 months. So I'm excited about using that. And love on your team. Know your team's kids' names. Know what sports they like. Know when their birthdays are. Love on your team. Do not ever forget to do that. You'll go to the top quick. So thank you guys.
Okay, so now I have the privilege of bringing up my friend, Brian Reed. He's an ambassador at Lake St. Louis. He's the one with the cool hair.
And the waterboard abs.
Yeah, he's doing the challenge right now. I gotta tell you, his abs are unbelievable right now if you guys are not seeing them. Welcome, Brian.
Your abs look good too?
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so I'm not gonna take off the shirt. But no, go to my Facebook profile picture, it's on there. You can see it on there. This is that kind of a day. No, okay. Guys, sorry. I'll tell you a little bit about my story really quickly. I actually got started in this 7 years ago. Is anybody on the buyback in here? Did anybody take the buyback? Yeah. All right, so that was all Visalus had. It was a buyback. And I actually didn't, oh, there, pull this before. I actually didn't sign up. My sister signed me up when I didn't even know. And then all of a sudden I got, we were taking a family trip to Atlanta. And we were going down and all of a sudden I started to catch on, like, all right, what's this about? Because they wouldn't shut up about it the whole way down there. And so we get in the room and I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset. And I was watching the Donnie Roy show one time and I saw this guy on there talking about, they had some entrepreneurs and it was Ryan Blair. And I didn't know who he was at the time. And so anyway, about halfway through the day, I'm sitting in this thing in Atlanta in this room and I'm like, wonder when this is going to be over with. And then all of a sudden Ryan Blair walks in the room and I was like, man, this thing's real. So then I started paying attention and you heard me say earlier, 7 people in my family were fortunate enough to get BMWs and that was only on the buybacks. We didn't have 3 for free. We didn't have people losing weight with shakes. So if we could do it then, every one of you guys have, 1,000 times the opportunity that we had. So we did it, we kind of stayed there. My sister hit ambassador. We just kind of, living life, not really taking it serious. But 5 years into it, we made the decision to go ambassador, and that's when we made it happen. So it's all about just making that decision and taking action. And I remember back then, it was, some of you might be wanting to hit Rising Star, RD, MD, whatever the rank is, whatever your goal is, or a dollar amount. When we made the run to ambassador, it was just deciding nothing was going to stop us. And I don't have that feeling now to go to 5-star, but when I do get it, I know nothing's going to stop us from getting there too. So that's all you got. You got to have that burning desire. Nothing's going to keep you from getting to your goal. So that's my quick story. I want to talk to you guys about weekly pools. And a couple things about these weekly pools is, number 1, you have to be active and in good standing. Number 2, you have to either have come in as an EPS or have upgraded from basic to an EPS. Make sense? Yes. Yeah, cool. So let's talk about these pools. So there's 2%, the company sets aside 2% of the bonus volume for pools, okay? And this is, you can go to pools.com and get all the basics, but check this out. Remember, 3 and 500. You guys repeat that? 3 and 500. 3 and 500. So all you gotta remember to understand what these are all about, because on the promoter side, to hit the promoter pool, when you enroll 3 EPSs, how much is the EPS? 500? So 3 at 500, you get 3 points, and that gets you into the pool, okay? And then every 500 after that, it's going to give you an additional point. So same thing over here. 3 customers for a total of 500, as long as they're on auto ship. So 3 for 500. So all these pools are about 3 and 500. So that gets you 3 points, that gets you into the pool, and for every 500 after that, you get an additional point. So who's played sports in here? Everybody? Or watch sports? Everybody? The team with the most points usually wins, right? Yep. I've never seen them lose. So the more points you have to get into the pools, the more money you're going to make in the pools. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Golf. What? All right. I said throw that. Thanks. I said golf. Both score when you golf. All right. Never mind. So yeah. Who's brand new in the room? Like brand new, just signed up within your first week. Yeah, 4 or 5 of you, 6 of you. All right, this is the most important for your brand new people. So Kevin said earlier, he doesn't get excited about people signing up anymore. He gets excited when people make money. And I've been in this for a long time, and I've seen people come and go, lots of people come and go. If you want someone to stick around in your business, or you want to build a team, and you want this to be something for the long term, you want your people to make money, right? Yeah? Okay. All right, so this is very important. So triple points and double points. So in your first, so if somebody signed up today, what's today, Sunday? When, I'll just give you the answer, I won't ask questions. Someone has not until this coming Thursday, but the following Thursday, that's their real first week. Does that make sense? Because we run Friday to Thursday. Okay, so since today's Sunday, you don't have the first week, first full week, so you get the following full week. Does that make sense? That's right. Okay, so let's check out these pools. So 25 to 100, I would just pay attention to the averages. So this is for the customer pools. 50, if you do it after, 3 weeks. Double points, if you do it in your second week. Triple points, $200 if you do it in your first full week. So how many people know 200 is a lot better than 50? Yeah? Right. All right. Somebody, it's Terry Ann. How much was, you've got a customer full check, how much was it?
Actually, it was my husband. I signed up later, but his first full week, which I think he signed up on a Sunday, and then so we had like a week and a half for that first week. Yeah. Our first check was about $250.
Oh. So you sign up for EPS, $300 for the product. So you're paying for $200 to get in the business, and you made that back plus $50. First week, that's big. Awesome. Congrats, guys. Same thing with promoter pool. So I'll start from the bottom. I'll get better. If you do it first week, you make 1,000. Second week, 700. And after that, it's 300. And it runs month to month from there. So again, 1,000 is better than 300. Anybody hit the promoter pool yet? Yeah? How much was your pool check?
I hit it during the bonus dash. It was about $1,400.
$1,400. How much was your EPS? 500. Nice. So that's what? 3 times the return. ROI. All right. So wait. Before I move on, I want to tell you guys, if you don't follow Jefferson Green, you need to follow him. Anybody that does follow him, he posted since he started running week to week, he posted a picture of his checks, and he said once he made that mindset shift, I think his checks, and I'm not going to get the numbers right, but they went from around 1,000 to 1,200 up to $4,000.
Yeah.
Weekly.
A week.
Dang.
1 week he made over $4,000 because of these pools. So this is free money, guys. I mean, this is just bonus that they're throwing at you. This is in addition to all the other ways we get paid. So everybody raise their right hand. All right, say, it's my job.
It's my job
to make sure my new person gets triple points. All right, so you guys all took a note, so it's your job. No, you got to take ownership because the new person coming in doesn't really understand what this thing's about, but you do. So help them out, take care of them. They're like a little baby. All right, they can't do it on their own. You got to make sure that they do it. And so it's your job. And then I get a shameless plug in here, Brandon. If you guys wouldn't mind getting a 10-star vote for me, I'm running for buy model. Today's the last day to vote. So everybody wants to build a big team in here? Yeah. So right now I'm going to bring up Brian Summers. He's out of Wentzville, and he's going to talk to you guys about teamwork. All right? Here we go.
All right, guys. Everybody's taking notes, right? Okay, first of all, let's write down vote.buy.com. Everybody that you've seen up here that is doing amazing jobs on their transformation and going for buy model, basically to get the heartthrob of everybody in St. Louis, like little brain read over here. Vote.buy.com. Look at the leaderboard. Help us out. We have quite a few people that really need your votes, that have earned your votes here in St. Louis. And let's create some great stories here within St. Louis. Okay? So, that'd be me. Okay. First of all, I want to give you a little background on where I am, where I came from. I'm a paramedic fireman. I work with the muscle guy, Joe Stewart. He approached me a little over 2 years ago, and I was injured. I was out of work for about a year and a half, and I got 2 bulged discs in my neck. I gained a lot of weight, kind of went through a bout of depression, and I decided that it was time. I needed to be able to keep up with my kids. I have two daughters and 1 little, very energetic little boy. And it was very hard to keep up with them when you're carrying around that extra weight. I decided to get on the challenge and started promoting it right away. Moved up through the ranks fairly quick. And helped a lot of people on the way. I dropped 35 pounds, built 12 pounds lean muscle, switched it over. And through that process of building and working with everybody, teamwork really gets into playing that big role. Within the fire department, we have a very, very structured teamwork system. We call it span of control. So this is something that is not new to what Joe and I do. So I'm going to go through and give you some analogies of what our mindset is and how to apply it within your groups. This might help you out. So being a team player overall, show up and always, anyways and always. What does this mean? When we're on our calls, when we're coming to events, do we just show up or do we show up to take notes? Are we here just to sit in a seat? Or are we here to take all the information in? We're hearing some great nuggets. We have Kevin Merryweather in town. Okay, he did some great nuggets. Even Brennan Janis got some good nuggets out of this. You never know what that speaker is going to say. So when you show up, make sure you take your notes. Be professional. Dress to match the event. Smart conversations and behaviors. Okay, we don't want to show up and be looking like scrubs. Right? We are professionals. Okay? Now, if it's a challenge group, do we want to be in a suit and tie? No! We want to get ready, get down, get sweaty. We want to get motivated. That's what we want to do. We want to dress for those events and be prepared for whatever events that we're going to be doing. Never, ever bring drama. The #1 killer of a social community or business. If you have somebody in your group that's saying, oh my gosh, I can't do these shakes because they have soy, I need you to pull you aside and talk to my person. We don't want to do that at an event. Say, that's great. I would love to be able to handle any situations. Let me get your number. I would love to be able to talk to you outside the event. But at the events, when we're doing prospecting, when we're doing challenge parties, we don't want drama. Okay? There's a time and a place. Not on calls or events. Handle all issues in private. As I said, if there are any issues, oh my gosh, my person didn't show up because it's St. Patrick's Day and they were out doing whatever. Handle that out in the hall. We don't want to bring that into our events. Team player on calls. Promote the calls to all who are invited. Leave off those who are not. Some team calls are meant for the up-and-coming leaders. Some team calls, we have to prepare certain people to motivate the other groups. Okay? So when we do team calls and we invite you on a call, it might be a special call just for your group. Don't go and put that on social media. Don't invite other people to the calls that don't need to be on there. Be early. Sound off with the name and city and state. Okay, so when we get on our Monday calls, we need to sound off. We need to let everybody know St. Louis is going to be the next ATL. Woo! Right? So when we get on these calls, this is Brian Summers, Presidential Director out of St. Louis, Missouri. All right? Make sure it's loud, make sure it's proud. Make sure you're representing your city and bring it. Mute out always with background noises. I love this one. You know, if you guys have ever heard behind the scenes calls, if I don't mute out my house, what you're gonna hear is my little boy running around in the background, chasing his sisters around. Okay? *6 on your phone. Mute yourself out. They don't need to hear that. Okay? Once again, we have to be professional. You know, put a Bluetooth in while you're changing diapers. Whatever you have to do. Participate and respond on open calls. When we're on an open call, you want to participate. You want to say what is working in your area. When we're on these team calls, do you think it's just this little small community that we're on? No. This is an international call. Your team calls, you're probably on a national call. All right, so you're talking about everybody throughout the country. What works here in St. Louis might not be working somewhere else. Okay? But vice versa, what's working somewhere else might work really good here in St. Louis if you implement it. Okay? One of the takeaways, and I'll give you an example, is I've been following a group down in Orlando. They were doing challenge groups before we even started company-wide challenge groups. Okay? So listen to the trends that are throughout social media. Listen to what's going on your team calls and be able to take notes from that. Find a quiet spot, take notes to get value. Did anybody get any value from this event tonight? So when we come to these events, be prepared to find out what value you can get taken away from this. Okay? Take your notes. Pass it throughout your teams. Let them know what the great takeaways are. After the calls, make a post about your favorite part. Once again. Hey, you know what? Brandon was just killing it. Or, oh, the Freemans were so funny. I love that Chris guy, you know? use the whole groups. You know, we may be a group of, 5 teams here in St. Louis, but we're one Visalus family. Okay? Don't use what my team is doing. Don't just use what my team is doing. Use what all collectively are doing. Celebrate everybody's successes. Okay? By celebrating everybody's successes, our whole community will grow. Promote the events to all that should be present. Should everybody be at NST?
Yes. Yes.
Should everybody be at NST?
Yes.
Exactly. Why? Because we're going to have even more success stories. We're going to have those golden nuggets that you can't get anywhere else. Go to NST. If you haven't done it, go to your ViNet, go ahead and register, make that note. Be early, pitch in, ask to help out. What can you do? All right? When you're coming to these events, ask your upline leaders, hey, what can I do to help out? Hey, Brian, do you think you can do the video on this one? I got that call last night. Absolutely, I'd be happy to help out.
That was this morning.
Oh, that was this morning. Yeah. Be social, connect with people, and connect like people. All right. So when we're doing this, we want to go to events and friend everybody else. I don't know how many friends that aren't in my team. The Freemans. I work out with the Freemans in the gym. I got some great stories about Chris doing these push-ups on his face. We'll tell that in a different story. But you know, you want to connect with other people because you might have somebody in a different city, state that you don't have a team member in, but you know the Freemans or you know the Nicholsons have somebody over in South County. Hey, when's your next party? Can I send one of my guys to that party? Absolutely. We're all here to help out. Be social, connect with. Be present during the event. Be inside the room, sit close, engage, respond, and take notes and learn. Okay, once again, when I say be present in the room, that's not just sitting here in the room. You know, be present is writing down notes. See what kind of nuggets that you can get as far as the takeaway. Oh, that's me. All right, so now I'm getting ready to bring up Mr. Brown Thunder, all the way from Jacksonville, Florida. Kevin Merryweather.
All right, y'all give it up for my main man. I am excited to be back here, and yes, bathroom break, everybody go, just kidding. But I love that deck, Brandon. You are right, that's good stuff. That is, all of that is pretty much exactly what you need to be doing. One of the main things that I love is on a conference call when that one person is not muted out and let everybody know that no one's muted out. Just hit mute on your phone. You know, like if you log onto a conference call, it should go without saying that you should just hit mute right off the start. Yeah? Because like if you're not going to be on the moderator again or talking, just mute, right? So I don't know, that's a big one for me. But anyway, so what I want to do right now is talk a little bit about some of the things that it's going to take as an individual to go out and succeed here. We've been doing this 5 years, and a lot of the how do I put this? A lot of people hear us speak, and they see our story, or they hear the story, and they say, "Well, man, you know, there's no way you were a UPS man." You know, it's like, yeah, it's been for 20 years, and it's because we've been students of this industry for about 17 years now, and we literally have been, you know, studying the industry of personal development and applying ourselves for a long time. And the unfortunate part is that we never made any real money for the first 13 years. But we continue to show up, we continue to be a part of, you know, the organization, if you will. And so it was an unbelievable, you know, transition when we got involved with Visalus that we literally hit a home run. And it seems like our success happened overnight, because I went from a UPS man one day to a retired ambassador, seems like the next. And I'll give you guys a story. I'll go a little bit more in detail in the story, and hopefully it will encourage you to know that you can get this thing done, and you can do it too. And some of the things that I'm going to share, I don't want you to think that by any means that we're bragging, or I want you to think how great we are. Not at all. We just want to let you know the real story. Because one thing I figured out after 17 years of being in the industry is that all of the training that we're doing today is great, and that's why we ask you to take notes so that you can go back and you know, call on some of this information. Because if you just try to remember it all, it's almost impossible. But one of the things that you will remember 5 years from now, I promise you this, is the stories. The stories that you hear. So anytime you get an opportunity to teach on a subject, always anchor it with the story. It doesn't have to be a long one, but anchor it with the story. So today I want to share a little bit of our story, and kind of, you know, where we came from and where we ended up, or where we are today, and hopefully a little bit of the vision of where we're all going, you know, as a team, as a company, you know, with this third wave, this movement. And so with that, we've also had an opportunity to be mentored, because we realize that the opportunity today is so much larger than what we saw 5 years ago. And so with the bigger opportunity is going to require more leadership. It's going to require more, you know, more individuals who have the capacity to go out and lead tens of thousands of people. How many of you guys realize that we're going to turn this into $1 billion a year company? We have to have $1 billion mindset. We have to have millionaire mindset. See, not job mentality. You have to adapt that entrepreneur's mentality. And one of the things that we've done, because we kind of hit our lid, if you will. About, I don't know, 2 years ago, we hit our lid. And we realized that we needed to kind of take some self-inventory of who we were as individuals. And when I say we, I'm talking some of the top earners in the company. We all realized that, okay, we did okay, but we can certainly do a whole lot more. And so what we've done is we solicited some help from one of the #1 individuals on the planet today on the subject of leadership. And he's actually the #1 authority, Mr. John C. Maxwell. He's actually our personal mentor, and he's taken not only our 3 co-founders, but the top 28 or so individuals in the company, and he's literally mentoring us for the next year or so. And we've been doing this since the end of last summer. It's been an unbelievable opportunity to learn from a guy who has, written more bestsellers than anyone you could probably name. When Inc. magazine did the last few months ago, they list the top leaders in the world, and John Maxwell was the #1, guy on the list. Tony Robbins was somewhere way down the list. People that you would probably think would be higher up were way behind John C. Maxwell. And so bringing in John C. Maxwell gives us all an opportunity to learn from the best of what it's going to take to raise ourselves as a person. Because everything rises and falls in leadership. So you're not going to go out and just make $1 million being the same old goofball, right? There were some things that I was doing 10 years ago that was just goofy. And it wasn't going to ever make me money. It was some mentality that I had to get rid of. I had to flush some things. And so I continued to put good in, and applying that good through an opportunity like this. And when that all comes together, that's where success happens, okay? And so what I want to do is incorporate some of the Maxwell, what I call nuggets, that I've been just some of my favorite points that John has shared with us, and I like to say with me, because he's my buddy now. I've seen him about, 5 times in the last 7 months, in person, which is kind of cool. I remember reading some of his books way back, and now today I can call him my personal mentor. We were in Costa Rica a month and 2 months ago, and he comes up behind me. This is when I knew it was getting good. He comes up behind me and he says, first of all, he walks up behind me and he puts me in a headlock and he calls me by my first name, Kevin. And at that point, it was just, I could have just fell out right there and went going on to heaven. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was the coolest experience. It didn't matter what he was saying. He put me in a headlock and called me Kevin. All right? Yeah. I didn't know he knew my name. So I was sitting 3 seats over from him, But I thought to myself, this is kind of cool. And so what I want to do is incorporate some of the Maxwell nuggets that I believe are some of the things that it's going to take for all of us in the room to go to the next level and then incorporate our story into that. Is that okay?
Church.
Yeah. Church. Okay, good. Okay. So I'm going to use this as my cheat sheet here, just because I keep this little notepad with me. This is our Leadership, Influence, and Development notebook, and I've got a lot of good stuff in here. One of the things that I'm going to start with is just kind of give you a quick background of who we were. I was a UPS guy for a long time. Like I said, 19 years when I saw this. Stephanie had worked 20 years in an insurance company, and the boys were 3 years old when we saw the challenge, when we accepted the challenge, right? And so we were always ambitious again. I had been in the industry for a long time. And one of the things that we knew we wanted was we knew we wanted to make more money. We didn't necessarily want to retire and quit our jobs. We just wanted to not have, we wanted more money than money. We wanted to have some, an extra few $100s a month in our pocket. And if we could accomplish that through an opportunity like this, we were willing to do whatever it took, right? And so our second month in, we accomplished that a couple of times over. We made $6,000 our second month, which was unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable to think that we could have that kind of return in a 60-day time period. And it was because of some of the things that I'm going to share here, meeting, with that work ethic and just the unbelievable opportunity we all have here with Visalus. And so I'm going to start there. One of the things that John Maxwell has shared with us, he says, if you want to impress people, share your success with them. But if you want to impact them, share your failures. And so I'm going to share a little bit of the things that we did wrong and some of the things that we maybe, we failed at, if you will, for a long time. And that was what I started with, our story. Here I am. I barely made it out of high school. Literally, I needed a C in chemistry. And I remember I had a D right at the end of the quarter. And if I didn't get a C, I wasn't going to walk. Any of y'all remember high school? And I remember talking to my chemistry teacher. You know how you pull them to the side? Like, buddy, look here. This is 12 years in the making. Help me out, right? My mom prayed me through high school. And it was, man, by the grace of God, I made it out. And I went to college and didn't necessarily do so well there either. And then if there's kids, I'm sorry, I believe in formal education as much as you can. I really believe college is a great place to socialize, and not socialize, but network, if you will. Yeah, because that's what I did, I sort of socialized. And I think it's a good place to network so that when you do go into your career, your business, right? You can call on the relationships that you've built, all right, through those, through those formal years of education. And so with that, didn't do well, college, quit a couple years in, started working at UPS at 17, and stayed a part-time, couldn't make $20,000 for the first 9 years. Could not make $20,000 for 9 years as an adult working. I worked 2 jobs, right? Stephanie made more money than me. When I married her, she was making more money than me. And I don't know about you fellas in here. That's the kind of, I don't know what I'm talking about. Walking around with your chest pulled out, and your wife's making more money than you. You want to trump her in salary, right? How many guys, am I the only guy in here like that? Okay. Yeah, you kind of want to bring the bacon home and, say, hey, I'm providing for the family, right? And so that was one thing that, and so when I got involved with direct selling, I thought that this was the way that I could go out and provide, And for 13 years, I told Steph that we were going to do it, we're going to make it, we're going to be this, we're going to do that. Year after year after year after year, not month after month. So if you're in here and you're feeling sorry about yourself, I know most of you guys are brand new, but if you're in here and you've been around 2 years, who cares? You ain't even scratched the surface yet, all right? You're just getting started. Like they say, you got milk behind your ears, right? So hang in there, okay? Hang in there. So it took us a long time to be profitable, where we could make any kind of significant money that was worth sharing, okay? So I share that with you guys to let you know, because yeah, we hit a home run. 18 months into this, we were making $65,000 a month. 18 months in. 13 years, nothing. 18 months in, 65 grand a month, right? That don't mean, now does the other end of it seem fair? Doesn't seem fair that for 13 years you can apply yourself and not make anything. Well, does it seem fair that in 18 months you can get 65,000 a month? Well, it's not because of the 18 months. It's because of the 13 years. See, right? Another thing that Maxwell shared is that there's never been a prize for starting. Starters to finishers are 100 to 1. All of you guys made a decision to join, congratulations. You don't get anything for that. We're looking for finishers. And what I mean by a finisher is someone that's going to continue to run the play. He says a true leader is the person that carries their team across the finish line. That's a true leader. And you're never going to be done until you carry your team across the finish line. Just because you get an ambassador or regional director or whatever the level is, doesn't matter. You got to bring somebody with you. The last thing you want to be is the only guy on the beach retired. To me, I used to think that would be the most boring thing to ever do, is to retire and not have anybody to enjoy it. And it's nice for you to go out now, right? Because you carried your team with you to success. Some of the ambassadors that we have today, we hang out and watch movies all night at the house. We don't have jobs. And it's just kind of what we do on Wednesday night after the kids go to bed, We got to turn the surround sound down, and wake them up, But I don't know, would y'all like to do something like that on Wednesday night? Yeah, movie night at the house, right? So, starters to finishers, 100 to 1. Be a finisher. One other thing he says is that, the greatest coaches in the world are the coaches that make halftime adjustments. You ever seen a great team? They may not start out, hitting home runs. They may not come out of the tunnel, scoring touchdowns. But when they go into the locker room at the halftime point, guess what? That's when the coach says, all right, it's time to fine tune and focus. It's time to kind of take some self-inventory of what we did in the first half, and kind of see who we are, what we did wrong, what we could do better, right? Put a game plan together and say, hey, we're swinging for the fences when we come out of the tunnel. Some of you guys have been around 6 months, a year. You're at a halftime point right now. Here we are on the 15th of the month. What's the date? 15th of the month. What better time to do some halftime adjustments than right now? Maybe this month ain't off to the start you thought it was going to be. I know all of you guys got a goal set to cross the stage at NST, right? Yeah? All you going across? Oh, let me back up. All you guys going to NST, right? Okay, good. All right. Now, not only will you go, but you set a goal to go across the stage, right? Yes? Yes. Okay. Well, here's the deal. Maybe you're not off to the start that you thought you would have at this point of the month. It's 15 days in. It's okay. Get with your support team. Draw your team out. Sticks and circles. Go old school. Get a piece of paper. Draw it out. Don't pull. I don't want to see your phone. Doesn't matter. Draw it out. Legs, how much volume, and your goal. where everybody's at now and what goal you want to hit. And then your support team can get with you and let you know exactly what we need to do. This is where we're falling short. This is where we need to be. But it's those halftime adjustments, guys, that make the great teams great teams. Amen?
Amen.
All right. Here's another one. This is good. And this is under the subject of successful entrepreneurs. He has some characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. And I remember as an employee, the word entrepreneur for me was kind of like vague. You know, I kind of had an idea, but I don't know, I never experienced it. And so when I hear John now talking about, Maxwell talking about a successful entrepreneur and some of the characteristics that make a person a successful entrepreneur, one of the things he says is that they stay creative when other people quit. They stay creative. Now you think about this. What does creative mean? Whatever it takes. Whatever you got to do, figure it out. I mean, there's a lot of people. Notice that the previous statement was that starters and finishers are 101, right? So there's a lot of people that do what? Quit. Yeah, it's an easy way to say it. There's a lot of people that quit. You know why? Because they're not being creative. They give up, they throw in the towel, and they say, you know what, it's too hard. You gotta swing till you hit. You gotta get creative. I don't know, change bats, change grips, change stance, go a little further up in the box. I don't know what you gotta do, figure it out. You know? We're in America, you guys, all of us live in America. We're in the freest, greatest country in the world. There is no reason today in America that you can't have your dreams. And I'm not talking about everybody's going to go get rich. No, don't think that that's what this is about. But there are some goals that I know you got set. Some attainable goals that you know you can go get done with this thing. There's no reason you can't have them. You know? But you got to get creative. Maybe it's something simple as going home a different way. Some of you guys realize that this kind of a business is built on thin threads, right? Very, very thin threads. You know, if you look at the vein, if you will, to a leader in an organization between another leader, the conduits, if you will, between those leaders, sometimes are very thin relationships that were forged or made just on a whim. And so that person may have been somewhere else in another situation if a particular instance didn't happen that day. I'll give you an example. I got a phone call, a random number. Don't know it, get a lot of those. But most time I'll let it go to voicemail and I'll figure out who it is. Anybody ever do that? Well, when you go 5-star and people start trying to run you down about all kind of foolishness, all right? You can get to a point where you do that. Well, this particular call, I ended up answering it. I'll never forget where I was standing in front of Barnes & Noble in the St. John's Town Center in Jacksonville. And I answered the phone, was about to go into Barnes & Noble. And there was a guy that said, hey, you Kevin Merryweather? Yes, I am. And I thought to myself, I'm glad I answered this call. Because you know who that guy on the phone was that wanted to lose 20 pounds and not promote the challenge? Who I ended up talking to for 45 minutes right outside of the Barnes & Noble? Jefferson Green, who led me to Ernest Ross. And between the two of those guys, they made $2.2 million in the last 2.5 years. Not a bad phone call to take, huh? Right? Between us, we made $4-point-something million between the three of us. It's a pretty decent call to take. Yeah? Right? And Jefferson told me he was too busy to make big money. Now, my point in saying that is this. Get creative. Doesn't matter. Go a different home from work, away home from work. Get on social media. When's the last time you went on social media if you like Harley Davidsons? Anybody here do? Like Harley? When's the last time you got on social media and searched out Harley Davidson shops and just went and liked the page? And then maybe look at some of the individuals that like the page. And guess what you end up doing? Seeing someone you might relate to and then friend them. Guess what you can do at that point once they accept your request? You could actually communicate with them and send them a message. Shocker. You just made a new friend. That's called being creative, guys. Social media has given us the opportunity to be whoever we want to be, wherever we want to go. There's no barriers anymore. You know, boundaries that used to exist don't anymore. Because you live in St. Louis doesn't even matter. You can run a multiple $1,000,000-a-year company from your backyard, from your home office, without any overhead. So get creative because it's worth it. When the other people quit and they make excuses, you stay creative. And that's my next point, is that Maxwell said this. He says, you'll never go from excuses to success. You'll never go from excuses to success. But you know what you will do? You'll go from failure to success. You know, when I got going, I had the ugliest schedule you could ever imagine. I don't even know if I can remember how it went, but I remember having a schedule, I forget the name of this run, where I would go in on Sunday morning at 7:30 in the morning, a.m. And I'd work until about 6 o'clock that day. And then I would work on Monday from like 2 a.m. till like 2 o'clock. Sometimes if they got, to where they wanted to really let us know that they own us, they would keep us 16 hours that day. And so sometimes I wouldn't get off till 4 o'clock the next day, sometimes 5 o'clock the next day, from a 2 a.m. start. Okay? I work Monday, and then I'd be off on Tuesday and Wednesday. Wouldn't those be the 2 days that you pick off during the week? And I go back on Thursday at 2 a.m. or whatever the start time was, and do those 14 hours again or whatever. Do it again on Friday. And on Saturday morning, you got to come in at like 5:30 in the morning, right? And work till about 1 o'clock on Friday. On Saturday. Can you say horrible schedule? Well, I could have made excuses at that point that my schedule was ugly and I ain't got time to go out and promote the challenge. Well, guess what? I didn't make excuses. It was an ugly schedule. And yeah, we weren't able to go to parties, so you could look at that as almost a disappointment, a bump in the road, a failure, if you will. But we didn't make excuses. We just continued on. We took the little bit of time we had and we applied ourselves to it. So don't make excuses about the situation you're in. Don't make excuses about whatever's happening in your business. It doesn't matter. Who cares? It's a part of succeeding. We're going to all fail. We're going to all come up short. Most people, that little bitty bumps in the road, throw them out of the saddle. You got to get back in, and you got to say, you know what? I'm ready to rock and roll again. Take the punch. Take the punch. Get back up, wipe yourself off, and keep going again. And I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna take some major punches from some people that you thought were, and they do care about you, but they didn't know how much of a dream stiller that they could be. I had an uncle one time tell me that I was being brainwashed by the people on those CDs that I was listening to. And I was thinking to myself, you and me make about the same amount of money. You're 25 years older than me. What in the world would I take financial advice from you for? I didn't say that to him. I said that to myself. Don't talk to your uncle like that. He's cute, So, but I remember that. And he didn't know how he was trying to steal my dream. He had no idea. He could have deflated me right there. He didn't know it because I respect him so much. He raised me, I'm like, wow. But I was so glad that I protected myself from that. I said, all right, let's go around, what's cool today? Yeah, I ain't gonna even tell you. It's cool today. When he comes over or wherever we're at, he always has to give me a joke about, being so rich and all of this stuff, And it's still, because he's kind of got that, but I just it's old now. 2-3 years ago it was cool, but now it's just whatever, And so some of those people, and I tell y'all that at the end, some of those people that will try to tear you down, they won't be able to hold a candle to some of the things that you can do. Yeah. They won't even be able to follow you around. I'm on a 3-day tour. He can't even follow me where I'm going for the next couple of days. Couldn't even follow. Schedule wouldn't allow it. So, with that, failure to success, not excuses. Amen? Amen. Okay, here's a couple more. The quality of your recruiting will determine the quantity of your recruiting. raise your odds, guys. Look for people with a pep in their step. Look for people who have done a little bit more than average. You know, I look at the individuals that I put in the first, 6 months or so. We never put any heavyweights in. But we put people who were what we call influencers, the teachers, the coaches, the pastors, the personal trainers, anyone in the medical profession, someone who makes $100,000 a year doing anything. Those are community influential leaders, whether they see themselves that way or not. You give me a $38,000 school teacher all day long, and I'll go to bat for him or her.
Amen.
Because they're underpaid, they're standing in front of the room in a position of authority, and usually they're pretty good communicators, right? And if you show them an opportunity to make $2,000 a month after school, and they got pretty good hours too. They don't go in at 2 a.m., right? They don't work 16 hours, do they? You know what I mean? You can argue that, but my point is, look for the community, look for the influencers, right? The quality of your recruiting will determine the quantity. It may take a little bit more to land the influencer, right? But when you get them, they're going to open up their Rolodex. They're going to open the Rolodex up. And when they make phone calls, guess what people do? They listen. When you've got an influential person that's making phone calls, they listen. And so, kind of exciting, consistency is the most underrated word in success. This is all John C. Maxwell, by the way. I didn't make it in this, and that's what makes it so cool. You don't want to argue with Maxwell. It's like, oh, Maxwell said. That's pretty much the gospel when it comes to succeeding in life, right? Or leadership. So he says being consistent is the most underrated word in success. And if you think about it, in the beginning, we never were the best at any of this. We weren't the best presenters. We weren't, the best. We didn't have the best transformation. We didn't have the best anything. But you know what we did? We just did it every day. I mean, some of you guys got to look at your calendar, and you got to say, okay, if I really am going ambassador, and I want to make $8,000 to $10,000, $8,000 to $12,000 a month, a full-time income, 6 figures a year, what should my calendar look like? Should there be big gaps in there where you just kind of hanging out? I don't know what you're doing with those gaps. It doesn't matter, but you can't have them too far apart between the parties that you're doing. I set a pace right away to do 20 parties a month. 20 parties a month. Because if I go to work 5 days a week, I figured if I go to work a day, I go do a party a day. Party a day, work a day. Work a day, party a day. Vice versa, right? So the consistency for me was to stay above 20 parties a month. 20 parties a month is what threw us into 5-star in 18 months. Threw us to ambassador in 6 months. We hit PE our second month in the company. We never dipped below that number. Still doing it today. I'm on a 3-city tour right now. All right, I had 5 events yesterday. I can take a couple days off now, right? No, I'm here today, right? I'm in DC tomorrow. And it's not because Kyle Passetti asked me to come into this market. And I could have came in today and left and came back and went back home tonight. But I chose to go to Atlanta, and I chose to go to DC, bolstering this St. Louis trip. Because I realized that there's a certain activity and consistency that's going to keep the income. Yeah, you can retire, and yeah, you can own your time again. But we still are an entrepreneur. We are networkers. We work. It's work. Don't tell me you want to make $1 million on the beach. All right? I mean, Nick will be the first one to tell you. He's filthy rich today, but he works his guts out. And yeah, he can take his wife to Italy for Valentine's Day. That's kind of tacky if you ask me. We were across town eating dinner, and Stephanie's on Facebook like, they're in Italy. I was like, put the phone down. Really? I knew that. I saw that earlier. There's so many hours ahead of us. But my point is that consistency, okay? We got to be consistent. Set a number of parties you're going to do a month. Set a number of contacts you're going to do a month. And stay to that number. You can't do it 1 month and then out the next. 1 month, out the next. There's got to be a level of consistency if you're going to develop any kind of momentum. And once you get momentum, never let it go. Never let it go. Don't take your foot off the gas. Now, at some point, you could relax a little bit. All right? When you start getting that thing going, and the regionals start popping, you start popping 30 and 40 of them a month in your team, you know, it gets good. You may not have to do 25 parties that month. You might do 23. You know what I mean? You gotta back off a little bit, you know? I'm being funny, but you know what I'm saying. Get the consistency going, and the momentum will follow. The question isn't, will your calendar be filled? The question is, who's gonna fill it? See, one of the things that I realized through this consistent activity is that when Maxwell said that, he says, guys, your schedules, and he's not just talking to us. He says, if you guys don't fill the schedule with parties and challenge hours, and GSTs and extended GSTs and local success trainings and regionals and national events and phone calls and three-ways and whatever else you're doing, free parties, and taking people's dream building, looking at cars, looking at homes, you know, being creative, you know, on social media and doing different things to go out and outreach, you know, network with people. If you're not taking the time to do those things, right, guess what? Your boss or somebody else is going to fill your calendar with things that they want you to do to build their business. How many of y'all believe that? Yeah. So what must we do if we're going to be the person that's going to grow and that's going to succeed? We got to fill our own calendar. And right now, while you got a job, because most of you work a job or some other business, right? Most of you guys, right? Probably 90% of the room. Good, I like that. Because we got to a point working every single day. It wasn't when we retired that we started building a real big business. It was the time that I was working every single day is when we built the foundation to what you see today. See, one of the guys that I met, there's 5 individuals that have made over $250,000 with us that we've personally enrolled. That I could say their names and not one person in this room, even Brandon, wouldn't even know who they are. Because they got in 5 years ago and they got going with us and they knocked one out of the park right away. And so with that, those individuals, guys, whether they're here or not, doesn't matter. They're going to be people that are coming to your team and into your life for a season to help you get to a certain position. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to lead you to somebody else, right? But you staying consistent on the front end. See, the people that are going to do it are going to show up behind you. See, they're going to show up behind you. So your job is to just stay consistent, like a jackhammer. It doesn't matter where. I don't even ask who's getting in, who joined. I hate to hear my promoters ask, well, who got in tonight? I don't know. It's not my job. I just want to tell a story. The only thing I want to know at the end is what party I'm doing next. Because if I continue to do enough parties, guess what? They'll start to show up. You know why? This is a $2 shake that helps you lose weight. Because we got an energy drink that is a part of the fastest growing segment of functional beverages. Y'all realize that energy drinks are about to catch coffee and gross sales in the U.S. Coffee does about 13 billion. Energy drinks are just shy of 10 billion. And 15 years ago, they didn't exist. So what does that mean to me and you? Somebody got rich over the last 15 years. Amen? Go in the convenience store right up the street. Look in the cooler. There's 2 shelves of water and 2 full coolers of energy drinks. That's everywhere. I'm a truck driver. Trust me, I know. I drink almost every kind out. Right? And it's so cool now to have our own product. Yeah. Neon. I love this stuff. And where's my glowing flashlight back there, right? But one of the things that I'm going to give you before we get into the story real quick is that you guys today, the play is to set a certain amount of parties, set a goal of how many people that you want to take with you. Meaning, like I set a goal right away that I wanted to help a certain amount of people get to regional director because that's all we could see in the beginning. And so we did. Our second month, we helped 6 people do it. And half of those 6 were able to go get their cars without me. And remember the bad credit thing? I had 4 or 5 guys driving BMWs, and I was driving Acura TL Type S with foggy headlights. I was the guy buying the foggy headlight cleaner kit on the infomercial late night. And the next day when it came UPS, I went out there to try to clean it. It didn't work. They were still foggy. Don't work. Don't work. Need a new car. But anyway, so with that, set a goal of how many people you want to take with you. If you got your goals set to go regional director this month, those 6 people you got to drag with you to Rising Star. Call them up, tell them the game plan, breathe the dream into them. One of the things that we got real good at doing was breathing the dream into people, what it was going to be like when we helped you hit regional director. And you're taking delivery of a brand new 435 in the sport, like my buddy Jeff led up in Boston. Do you know what it's like for him to be a fireman up in Boston, driving a brand new 435 in sport, right? And he's about to buy a new Jeep this week, you know? And he's got a nice house, and he's a full-time fireman with 2 brand new cars, a nice house. He goes to work every single day, and all of his buddies are going, how did you pay for that BMW? That's a $57,000 car, you know? And he's like, hey, Violet, right? Start talking to folks what it's going to be like when you take delivery. And so with that, one of the things that I'm going to start with is that we wanted, once we got it going, our goal was to get to a point where we didn't have to go to work. And I would encourage you to set a goal. If you can't see that far right now, set a regional director goal, set a money goal, a couple thousand a month. But then, once you get that going, you need to set you a retirement date. All right, I want you all to get a date in your head of what day you want to walk out of there, your freedom day. What day is it going to be and what is it going to look like? What are you going to be able to do when you retire? Right? What are you going to be able to do? What is that last day of work going to look like? And so I got a couple of slides that hopefully will give you an idea of what my last day of work looks like. Y'all want to see my last day of work look like? Because I worked there 20 years, so I figured after 20 years, I should go out and stop. Yeah?
Yes.
Well, here's the real story. I got going, and well, I'll just say, that's what my last day looked like.